Tell me this, Lions fans. How many August nights have we sat there, preseason buzzing in the air, thinking we're about to get a real look at the next big threat, only to find out the guy we came to see isn't even suiting up? If you've been riding with this team since the Silver Dome days, you know that feeling in your gut, that mix of curiosity and a little bit of what aren't they telling us? This is Lions News Fan Report, and if you believe our defense is primed to turn this so-called preseason letdown into a straight-up opportunity, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into what's really going on here. Because on Friday night, under those bright Mercedes-Benz Stadium lights, the Falcons are rolling without Michael Penix Jr. and Kirk Cousins. No, that's not a typo, and no, it's not some late summer smokescreen. Raheem Morris already confirmed it. And while Atlanta fans might be chewing their nails over not seeing their future or their present at quarterback, we in Detroit have. To see this for what it is, a golden chance for our guys to get a live-fire look at a defense-first chess match. Easton Stick and Emory Jones will be under center for Atlanta, which means no polished NFL timing, no season reads, and a whole lot of room for Aaron Glenn to unleash some heat on quarterbacks who haven't felt the Lions' pressure yet. This is where the speculation starts burning. What does Brad Holmes do when he sees this opening? Could this be the kind of statement game that convinces him we're one relentless pass rusher away from taking the NFC North by the throat? Because let's not sugarcoat it, our defense last year could bring the noise but not always the knockout. There were games where one more sack, one more hurry, one more moment of quarterback panic could have changed the entire script. And now, with the Falcons giving us a preseason opponent without their top two signal callers, the table is set to see how our front seven really hunts, and to make the case for bringing in a proven predator to lead the charge. Imagine it. A player who's built his reputation on wrecking pockets, on making Pro Bowl QBs hear footsteps that aren't there, suddenly lining up in Honolulu blue. This isn't about overreacting to a preseason lineup shuffle. It's about recognizing the rare moments when the stars align and the front office has a clear view of exactly what needs to be done. And if that player we're all whispering about is really in reach, if his name is starting to pop in those quiet conversations behind closed doors at Allen Park, then this Friday could be the unofficial start of a defensive rebirth we've been craving since the days when our edge rushers were the ones keeping offensive coordinators up at night. Because if the Lions' pass rush shows dominance against a backup-led Falcons squad, the pressure won't just be on the quarterbacks, it'll be on Brad Holmes to pull the trigger. And that's when the fun begins. There's a charge in the air right now, the kind that makes you lean forward in your seat because you know something big is brewing. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into why this could be the exact moment that changes everything for Detroit's future. You can feel it in the way this fan base talks, in the way the players are carrying themselves, even in the way Ford Field has started to feel less like a stadium and more like a fortress. This isn't just hype for the sake of hype, this is the culmination of years of building, years of frustration, and years of believing that one day the Lions would stop being the almost there team and start being the team everyone else fears. And right now, we are standing on the edge of that transformation. If Brad Holmes decides to go after this pass-rushing nightmare we've been hinting at, if he brings that level of proven chaos off the edge to Ford Field, everything changes. Suddenly, Aiden Hutchinson isn't double-teamed every snap because the other side is a graveyard for offensive tackles. Suddenly, quarterbacks can't just slide away from pressure because they're surrounded, hemmed in, and counting down the seconds before they're buried in the turf. We've seen this formula work before. Remember 2013, when the Seahawks defense suffocated Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl? Or the 2000 Ravens, where it didn't matter who was under center because the defense simply took the air out of the game? Detroit is flirting with that blueprint, but flirting isn't enough. We've had taste after taste. Rod Woodson once called Ford Field one of the loudest, most hostile environments he'd ever seen, but noise alone doesn't win in January. Pressure does. Relentless, merciless pressure. The kind that changes The way a quarterback reads the field and makes even the best offenses look ordinary. Think about the psychological effect Jordan Love staring at a collapsing pocket before he can even set his feet. Justin Fields bailing out of clean pockets because he knows the hit is coming. And even the 4-9 Ers and Eagles realizing that Detroit's front seven is now in the conversation with the best in the league. You start stacking those moments, and it's not just wins you're collecting. It's belief. It's swagger. It's the transformation from a team that hopes to win to a team that expects to win. For the fans, this is about more than stats. About pride. It's about reclaiming an identity that's been sitting in the attic since the days of Spielman and Porcher. This team has clawed its way back from irrelevance, piece by piece, and now stands on the brink of being feared, not just respected. You bring in that final piece, and suddenly every offensive coordinator in the league is rewriting their game. Plan the moment the schedule drops. And don't tell me the locker room wouldn't feel it. Veterans would smell the opportunity. Rookies would realize they're part of something special, and every guy in Honolulu Blue would take the field, knowing they're part of a defense that can win games on its own. It's the same energy we felt when Hutch was drafted, when C.J. Gardner-Johnson came in and brought that swagger, when the national media finally had to start talking about Detroit in the same breath as the elite. The window is open, but in the NFL, windows slam shut without warning. A roster this balanced, with an offense that can trade punches and a defense this close to breaking through, doesn't come around every season. That's why Holmes can't sit on his hands. The league is watching. The division is vulnerable. And this city is starving for a reason to believe that this isn't just another tease. And here's the thing: moves like this aren't just about winning now. They're about changing the DNA of the franchise for years to come. You add that missing weapon to the front seven, and you're setting the standard for what it means to be a Detroit Lion. You're telling future free agents that this is a destination, telling draft picks that they're walking into a culture that's built to win, telling every opponent that every snap against Detroit is going to hurt. It's not about one season. It's about finally flipping the script that's been written about this team for decades. If we want the Lions to stop being a good story and start being the story, this is the move. This is the moment. This is the kind of decision that becomes a before and after in franchise history. And when that first sack comes in a playoff game at Ford Field, when 65,000 voices hit like a tidal wave, and the opponent's will cracks right there under the lights, we'll remember this summer not as the preseason where two Falcons QBs sat out, but as the turning point when Detroit stopped waiting for someone else to hand them respect and went out and took it. And years from now, when banners hang and legends are made, we'll look back and say, that was the night the Lions became who they were meant to be.